We're in a really interesting time right now where we don't totally really know what's going on. We're all being told to stay within our homes and we don't really know for how long.
Right now in New York, everyone is quarantined. So we wanted to find a way to still be social because I'm a very social, outgoing person, but I can't go out. So Saturday was the day I met her.
Or I was doing the dance from High School Musical. We're all in this together. That's what that was supposed to be.
I needed to say hi to her, so I waved out on my balcony. I felt this energy, I felt a little bit of connection, and I took a video, I posted it on social media, and it went viral.
To go on a first date during quarantine is just more than I ever expected, especially now that the whole world also knows about it.
I've never had people following my first date, and there's pressure because of that. But it's very possible this is the beginning of a great love story.
You look beautiful!
My name is Jeremy Cohen, and I'm 28 years old. I'm a freelance photographer based here in Brooklyn, New York. Since I'm a freelance photographer, a lot of my work is travel, which is a lot of fun, but it also makes it hard to date. If I make plans, I never know if I'll fly somewhere the next day for an exciting job opportunity, which I would prefer over a date. So we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is not a great situation. We're confined to our small spaces for the sake of social distancing to flatten the curve, which is a good thing for society for the future, but we're all social beings and I'm in my apartment all by myself. I kind of stole these dumbbells from the gym downstairs since the gym downstairs closed, so.
Here's a small tour of our apartment, and I really do mean small, it's not very big. It's pretty easy to bump into things here. My name is Tori Signorella. I'm 23 and I live in Brooklyn, New York. I have been social distancing. New York is so big. It's really hard to meet people naturally. I always say that you only find love when you're not actually looking for it. I'm a true believer of that kind of statement.
I have a lot of windows in my apartment, so I could see on other people's roofs. And right across the street from me is when I met Tori. It was so liberating to see how liberated she felt. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I just described it. Anyone that can just dance during a pandemic, during a terrible thing that's happening, I want to hang out with you.
And then I hear someone shouting from across the street, and there's Jeremy on his balcony. He basically told me to just hang on, he was going to send something over. And that was when he sent over the drone, and with his number attached. It was just a whirlwind of emotions. It was just so funny, and it was also just really cool. I wasn't expecting, one, that I guess I would be meeting people during a lockdown. And then on top of that, I just was not expecting to gain a phone number out of it. That's crazy.
She picked up my drone, and I guess it worked because I got a text from her an hour later.
What got me to text Jeremy was, we're here in quarantine, and so it just doesn't hurt to have that extra interaction with someone. What do either of us have to lose?
I posted it on social media. We're texting back and forth. It's kind of cute, we're flirting. It happened to go viral.
I'm getting called rooftop girl mainly.
And for me, I've heard a couple balcony boys.
I had never met Jeremy before. I know a lot of people are believing that, but me and my roommate, we've been living in Brooklyn for about 6 months now. And we've been talking about how we have been wanting to make new friends out here, and we haven't really had much luck.
And that's just how New York is. You have so many neighbors that there's no chance you'll ever get to meet all your neighbors. Now it's time for part 2. I asked her out to dinner, but she said how. I had to do some thinking. I was trying to think of something to do that would be special while also practicing social distancing. So the idea I came up with was to have a dinner together, but she'll be on her roof and I'll be on my roof, and we could kind of look at each other across the roofs, but then FaceTime as well. Hopefully her love language is something to do with creativity, because I put a lot of thought into this date.
First dates for me are pretty nerve-wracking. It's gonna be cool seeing him on his balcony and me on my roof. It's really just not a natural way to date, but it's kind of what we got to do right now, and I'm really excited to do something different.
There's a lot of people watching this story, and I want to have a really good date with her, but also make a really good TikTok out of it for everyone to experience as well. I got her roommate's number. I coordinated with Katie to set up a nice dinner with a little wine, a nice little tablecloth. It's all about the finishing touches. And then I told Tori to come to the roof at 5 p.m.
Romantic rendezvous is my love affair with you.
You look beautiful! You look beautiful!
Naturally, I was just a little bit nervous. We couldn't really look each other in the eye while talking. We were talking through a screen, and then sometimes we'd look at each other. Definitely just a little different of a scenario, but I think Jeremy set the bar pretty high.
Well, happy quarantine date.
Happy quarantine. Cheers.
Going on first dates with people, one of the biggest pressures is oh, are they going to expect me to go home with them? And this is just no pressure. We're just sitting down for dinner and having a chat.
Yeah, definitely. I think once we got past the stuff for the TikTok video and we just sat down and actually started talking about ourselves, it did feel really natural. In as best of a way as you can to have a first date from across the street.
I feel like when the quarantine is lifted, I think Tori and I owe it to each other to go on a real normal date.
We definitely talked about that during our dinner date.
Yeah, we got some things under wraps that we just keep between us, So I believe that there's a way lower chance that this would have happened if it wasn't for the quarantine, because for one, Tori wouldn't have gone to the roof because she's lived in her apartment for 6 months now and never went to the roof once. And then for two, I don't think I would have flown my drone over there. Tori was the closest person to me, and she was dancing and she was cute, so I wanted to say hi.
I definitely love being a part of something that has been giving people hope because, we don't really have a lot to look forward to anymore right now. It feels like every day is the same day.
Going viral during this pandemic is kind of conflicting feelings because I feel on top of the world, but there's this thing that's affecting all of our lives right now. But the way I'm looking at it is, this is just this is a positive story in a dark time where it could bring a little bit of joy to someone's day.
I never imagined something like this would happen to me even in everyday life, let alone in the middle of a quarantine.
Only in New York,
Only in New York.
Mon chéri, c'est